guys, I'm Lisa from theScore eSports, and I'm here with Nick Doucet, one of our League of Legends analysts. And we are outside Madison Square Garden in New York City after a crazy series between CLG and Team SoloMid.
Awarded. CLG take the inhibitor, they're gonna take the Nexus turrets, and they're gonna take a trip to Worlds!
This is gonna be it. Counter Logic Gaming, fighting every season since there has been one, and now taking down Team SoloMid at Madison Square Garden to be your 2015 Summer Split Champions.
I'm speechless. It's been years of blood, sweat, and tears for all of us. Sorry, my throat's shot. But it's truly magical to be here. Thank you.
This was the year of Destiny for CLG, and Destiny was not to be denied today.
Faith Age.
So many of the team fights in this series came down to strict outplays by the members of CLG.
Definitely.
You know, TSM looked all right last week against Team Liquid, but CLG was simply on another level today, and they outplayed them in every team fight.
Let's break down this series a little bit here. Game 1. So we had CLG, Zion Spartan on Yasuo, Xmithie on Gregas, Pullbelter on Victor, Doublelift on Tristana, and Afrobu on Braum. So can we talk about Doublelift on Tristana for a bit? Because this whole playoffs and the whole split, he's been 100%. We won every single game that he played Tristana on. So, and in game 1, he went 7-1-4. That's crazy.
He's been absolutely sensational on Tristana this entire season. 8.7 KDA across this split, and the pick fits so well into CLG's style. In the early game, it allows Doublelift to get aggressive, shove up, you know, all the way to the tower, farm up, and in the mid game, he's allowed to move around the map, take down the towers, and really put CLG ahead with some solid gold and snowball his advantage. And in the late game, Tristana's added range just lets him sit back and deal tons of damage in the fights. Mid, early, late, all three parts of Tristana work perfectly for CLG and Doublelift, and that's why he succeeds so well on that champion.
All right, so we know Doublelift was amazing on Tristana, but let's talk about Zion Spartan on Yasuo. In game 1, he went 4-0-6. So how do you think he performed on Yasuo?
Obviously, without a question, it was fantastic. You know, that Yasuo pick was something that's been rumored to be coming down the pipes. He plays it a ton in solo queue, and he showed his practice on that champion here. He absolutely dominated Dyers from minute 1 and really contributed to CLG's win in game 1. He was applying tremendous pressure on the map. It was just an all-around amazing showing from Zion.
So Team SoloMid obviously thought that Yasuo on Zion Spartan was a threat, which is why in game 2, they picked it for Bjergsen. So how do you think Bjergsen played on Yasuo compared to Zion?
Yeah, TSM definitely evaluated that as a threat. I mean, they got completely stomped by it in game 1.
Yeah.
Decided to try and take it away. Bjergsen is obviously a fantastic Yasuo player, but it was a pale imitation next to Zion's in this series. And I feel like CLG was prepared to counter the Yasuo. I think that they recognized that the Yasuo pick takeaway was going to be coming. They came into that game with the game plan, and Bjergsen did very little that game.
No, it's interesting because I saw Bjergsen play, Yasuo on solo queue a couple times, but I guess it wasn't enough to pull out the win.
Yeah, maybe he hasn't been practicing it enough in scrims. It's certainly not something that's very common these days, so I don't expect that to be Bjergsen to be 100% with his team on that Yasuo pick, and it showed.
Well, like in game 2, there's actually another fight that I want to talk about. Early in game 2, around 7 minutes, there was a fight top lane where Santorin was going in, he was kind of harassing, and he backed out just as Lustboy, he dived in on Alistar and initiated a fight. And then it was a messy fight. It obviously seemed that TSM had some sort of communication issues. And so do you think that maybe their communication issues would be something that they need to work on for Worlds?
Yeah, definitely. Although that fight might have turned out even, it was definitely something, it's indicative of a problem that I think that TSM is experiencing that they've definitely been trying to work on behind the scenes, is the difficulty of being on the same page or of two minds during their initiations. And that was just, a case study in that. Santorin was going out, happy to have blown the flash. Lustboy chased in, went in, and CLG probably got more off that fight than they should have. So definitely something that TSM needs to work on before Worlds.
So talking about Worlds, what are your predictions for Worlds? How do you think the NA teams will stack up against everyone else?
I think CLG is going into this, their first Worlds with this roster, with a fire in their bellies. This series is definitely going to be a tremendous confidence boost to them. We'll see how they measure up, but I definitely think that the international stage needs to take notice. This was not a close series. CLG absolutely destroyed TSM and looked really strong, especially in the early game. I think they're going to be able to match some really good teams on the international stage in the early game. Certainly their rotations and their early game decision making is top notch. For TSM, they had a really great series against Liquid where they capitalized on Liquid's mistakes, but they also did fall behind a lot not only early in this series, but early in the series against Liquid. And that's just the sort of thing that's going to cost you games on the international stage. They really need to work on a lot of things.
So we have the gauntlet starting next weekend on August 29th. Team Impulse and Team Liquid now have to play again to qualify for going to Worlds. So what are your predictions for the outcome of the gauntlet?
Yeah, while this series was, had CLG's fans celebrating, it was a stab to the heart of Team Liquid fans because they get dropped down into the regional finals bracket. Now, granted, they are the high seed, and so therefore I do actually think that they have the best shot of claiming the 3rd seed at Worlds, but it's certainly not going to be easy. Team Gravity, Cloud9, and Team Impulse are all going to be gunning for that one spot that's left, but I do think we have to go into that event thinking Team Liquid are the favorites.
All right, thanks, Nick. That's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to download our app, available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.